Hello and welcome to another video from Old Frames Gaming. I'm your host BK, and today we are going to be featuring a video from round 2 of our August meetup at Dragon's Den, where we played Atlantic Old School. This video is going to feature a matchup between Shane on White Weenie versus myself on Lion-Dib-Bolt. At the time of the recording of this video, I did not have a deck picture from Shane, but as you might be able to imagine from the name, and I'm sure that many of you out there are familiar with this archetype, White Weenie is gonna have many of the tools that you're used to seeing. It's gonna have Savannah Lions, Acacian Javelineers, Crusade, Swords to Plowshares, just an all-around good solid deck. So that said, let's take a look at the list that I played on the night. And here we have the deck that I played on the night. As the name suggests, this deck is primarily centered around Savannah Lions, Serendib-Ifrit, and Lightning Bolt. Just good, efficient beaters that are quick to get down, backed up with some burn to help control the board and or finish off your opponent. I'm playing a little bit of fast mana and some jewelry. I've also got Soul Ring down there. A little bit of board control between Chaos Orb and the Disenchants and Divine Offering. And then just some basic counter spells to kind of protect what's going on. There's also a little bit of disruption between Balance and Mind Twist there. And then a couple of ways to refill my hand with Wheel of Fortune and Time Twister. Let's take a look at the sideboard. So here we have the sideboard I brought with me on the night. You'll see the red and blue elemental blast are there to help supplement those 3 counter spells in the main deck in the event that those matchups come into play. I brought a couple more shatters and Hurkyl's Recall to work alongside those disenchants and that Divine Offering in the main deck for those artifact heavy decks. Swords to Plowshares is there. Although I don't want my opponents to gain too much life, but I do want to be able to have a good way to deal with creatures that are beyond the reach of the burn in the deck. Karma for those mono black decks. Let's face it, mono black is a pretty good budget build in old school Magic, so 1 Karma doesn't seem like a terrible idea. And then I've got another Fireball to add to the burn that I'm playing in the main deck, just as a late game finisher. And then the Veneral's Disc in case everything goes completely wrong so we can restart the game. Alright, so that's the deck tech for Lion-Dib-Bolt and the sideboard. Let's take a look at some gameplay and see how this one worked out. Alright, and here we are in game 1. I am going to be on the play, and I took Mulligan down to 6 cards. So I'll be going first. Shane says he's good. I open up on City of Brass, Mox Ruby, and take a point of damage to play a Savannah Lions. It's a pretty good opener. Shane's going to lead off on Plains, and Acacian Javelineers, I believe, momentarily he's going to play. There's a little bit of glare, and I apologize for that, but with the counter, I'm quite certain that's what that card is. So Shane passes the turn back. I'm going to come on in with Savannah Lions, send him down to 18. Might as well get the damage in now before he removes that counter and sends Lions to the bin. So Shane finds another Plains and a White Knight, which is bad news for me because that thing has first strike and can block that Lion all day long. So at the end of the turn, I'm going to play Ancestral Recall, draw 3 additional cards, and maybe see if we can't find an answer for this board state. Alright, so Recall goes to the board. He's going to go ahead and kill my Lions by removing that counter off of his Javelineers. I find a Tundra. And now I'm just studying what to do here because he does have a pretty decent board state that is going to be difficult for me to get past at this point, unless I find some of my flyers. Alright, so we're going to Demonic Tutor and go searching for our favorite card ever. You'll notice I've stopped on Balance because that does kind of help shore up some things in this matchup. just checking my hand again just to make sure. Ultimately, that is what I decide to keep, is the balance. So I'm going to take a little bit of damage on Shane's turn if he sends those guys into the red zone. But I do have a way to get rid of them next turn. So Shane untaps, takes a look at a fresh card off the top of his deck. Looks like he's found a, I believe that's a Chaos Orb. No, it's a soul ring. Alright, so he sends in the team for 3, sending me down to 14. And he passes the turn. So I'll take a look at one more off the top. So we're counting cards in hand, I believe, at this point. Alright, so yeah, I'm just double checking the number of cards in hand. So I decide to back up for just a second, take a point of damage off of that City of Brass to play my Soul Ring, so I don't have to discard it. Now we're going to play Balance. So that's going to wipe the board. Considering I have no creatures in play, I'm not quite sure why I sacrificed my City of Brass, looking back on it now, though. Alright, so Shane plays his Soul Ring and passes the turn back. So I draw a new one off the top. I find a Mistress Factory. We're going to go ahead and disenchant that Soul Ring. You can see that Sarah Angel in Shane's hand there. That's going to be problematic. Alright, so we're going to tap our Soul Ring, activate that twice because Mana Burn is a thing. Shane has the Swords to Plowshares to answer the Assembly Worker. So I gain 2 life, go back up to 15, and pass the turn back over to Shane. Shane finds land number 4 and says, you can go ahead and go. So I draw another card. I'm going to double activate my other factory again. And he's found yet another Swords to Plowshares. So now I'm back up to 17 with two mana sources and a Soul Ring. Shane finds a Crusade. So he's just setting that up for future turns. But I have the disenchant to answer it on the end of the turn. So now we find, I believe, a Mox Emerald. There's a little bit of glare there still, but I think that was a Mox Emerald. And I just go ahead and pass the turn back. Shane finds an Order of Lightbearer, which is one of the 2/1 Pump Knights out of Fallen Empires. So I go ahead and play my Chaos Orb and pass the turn. Shane finds land number 5, swings in for 2 with the Order. I have the Bolt for it. And here comes Sarah Angel. So now I'm in trouble. At the end of the turn, I'm going to go ahead and activate the Chaos Orb. I'm going to try and take care of this thing. And I completely miss. I need more practice. Maybe Joe over at the Orb can give us a few hints on how to do that. Maybe give us a little bit of practice. Some technique. Alright, so I play my Mistress Factory and pass the turn to Shane. He finds another Sarah Angel and then comes on in for 4, sending me down to 13. And Shane passes the turn. I find a Tundra, but we're looking at 8 damage in the air coming across and sending me to 5 this coming turn if he attacks with both. Shane pays 2 mana for a Crusade, which I have the counterspell for, thankfully. But he's still going to put me down to 5. I draw a card. The answer is not there. I'm going to go ahead and concede game 1. We're going to give everybody a chance to sideboard, and shuffle up, and we'll meet these players in round 2. Alright, and opening up game 2, I'm going to be on the play. Both players opted to keep all 7 cards on their initial draw. So I open up on Tundra. Shane opens up on Savannah Lines. So he passes the turn back. I find a City of Brass and pass the turn. Shane has found Order of Lightbearer and plays a second Plains and comes into the red zone with Savannah Lines for 2. I'm going to go ahead and bolt that guy while I still can. And I'm going to play Ancestral Recall on the end of the turn and draw 3 fresh cards. So already digging a little bit. So fresh card off the top. Find a Mishra's Factory. Just kind of assessing the situation here. I'm going to go ahead and time walk and take another turn. So we're going to draw another card. Lion-Dib-Bolt hits the board. So 1 damage every upkeep, but I have a 3/4 flyer now. If I can keep it. Shane finds Caracas. You can see he's got Navinaral's Disc and what looks like a couple of White Knights in hand there. Trying to decide if he wants to deploy one of those or not. Alright, so he finds the Swords to Plowshares and gets rid of my Dib. And then opts to play a Crusade and crash in for 3 damage. Sending me down to 18. I untap. Take a look at a new card. What did we find? Alright, we found another Dib. So we're going to go to 17. Taking a point of damage off that City of Brass. And we're going to tell Shane to go ahead and go. But unfortunately, it looks like he has found another Crusade. So that is now a 4/3 Knight coming across. Sending me down to 13. Now down to 12 off of the Lion-Dib-Bolt upkeep. I find another Tundra. We're going to go ahead and come across for 3 in the air. There's not a profitable block to be made because he can just give that Order of Lightbearer first strike. I'll go ahead and pass the turn. Shane's going to untap. Taking a look at a new card off the top. Looks like he has drawn a Sarah Angel. Those were very problematic in Game 1 for me. I can't imagine that being much better in Game 2. So Shane finds another Order of Lightbearer. Plays it. I'm going to go ahead and disenchant at least one of those Crusades to save some damage. And then Swords to Plowshares this guy. So Shane's going to gain 3 life. But I managed to dodge all the damage that turn. Shane passes the turn back. I'm going to take 1 off of the Dib and go to 11. And we're going to come on across for 3 damage in the air. And he's going to go back to 17. On Shane's turn, he finds a White Knight and goes ahead and plays it. I'm going to opt to counterspell that though. So now he's going to come across for 3, but I've got a Lightning Bolt. So I'm going to go to 10. But I have managed to get rid of his board. Now we go to 9 off the Lion-Dib-Bolt trigger. We're going to come across for 3 in the air. Send the Shane to 14. Play a Volcanic Island. And pass the turn. Shane finds his 4th land of the game. He's thinking about it. I'm going to go ahead and play that Navinaral's Disc. But I've got the answer in Counterspell. And Shane passes me the turn back. I go to 8 off of the Lion-Dib-Bolt trigger. And we find another Mishra's Factory. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and activate. We're going to pump it up and I'm going to come across for 6. Putting Shane at 11. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, 8. That is right, 8. Shane finds a 5th land and plays a Sarah Angel and says you can go ahead and go. But I'm going to kill that thing, or at least I thought I was on the end of the turn. Shane says, sure, that's fine. And then points to the Crusade there because I don't know how to do math. So now I go to 5 and 4. But I didn't draw an answer to get rid of that Sarah Angel. So I go ahead and concede the game to Shane. Good job. He gets the 2-0 win in round 2. Thank you to everybody who stuck around or came back, and any new visitors that we might have to the channel. If you enjoy this type of content or pre-modern, I would ask that you like and subscribe. It only helps us, and it's free to do. If you like old school Magic in particular, I would encourage you to head on over to the Orb. Our buddy Joe runs that channel, and he does a phenomenal job with his old school coverage. It is almost unbeatable. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by, everybody. We'll see you next time.